Hello and welcome to this week's show. This week all about the Word and the Word as an access way, as a way of us entering into the world as we live in as human adults. Now, there is something that I didn't mention in the video the other week that we require as an absolute essential requirement in order to access the world, a kind of key, if you like, if you saw the Word as a doorway into the world. What is therefore the key that we need to get into the world? Well, if we take a word like that, which is in fact a Russian word, and I'm assuming that you don't know Russian, you cannot access that which lies behind this word, the black hole doorway, if you like. You are kind of stuck. If that was a doorway, you have no key. You cannot access it. And why can you not access it? Because, quite simply, you do not apprehend what it means. Right? So, apprehension itself is the key to the doorway of the Word into the world. And if you knew what this means, I know what this means, you could then enter into the Russian world, if you like, if you want to split the world up into various sub-worlds. We could say you are entering into the Russian world, or the Russian part of the world. Of course, it all comes together as one, doesn't it, as humans? But yes, the Russian sector of the world. And so it is apprehension itself that is the key. And it's kind of interesting, isn't it? Because at the moment, whilst looking at that, that is out of your control, right? It's inside my control because I know what it means. So, for example, if you said to me, can I please go and buy one of those, I could go and buy one and come back and put it on the table. Now, I can do that because the meaning of the word is under my control, right? At the moment, assuming you don't know what this means, it is totally out of your control, right? It's kind of, in a way, moving and chaotic and all over the show, and it's totally eluding you. You cannot bring it under your control. Now, if I tell you what it means, all of a sudden this word, right, becomes under your control, and you can do something with it. You can only do something with things, can't you, if they're under your control. If you have water in your hands and it seeps through your fingers, you can't do anything with the water. But if you have the water in a cup like that, you can then do something with it. You can drink or something. So, if I tell you now that the meaning to that word is bread, you can then go and buy a loaf of bread. So, becoming apprehensive of words is in fact bringing them under our control. So, when they are like that, something I just made up before, they're totally out of our control, and because there is no meaning to this word, I can not go and buy one of these, and neither can you, because it means nothing, and so therefore we have no control over it. Perhaps also when you have a word such as that, which doesn't even have letters that we can recognize, we are even more, I mean, it's kind of frightening, isn't it? The idea of going to the Brazilian rainforest and having no access to any language that we know of, and no way out, say, of the forest. I could imagine that would be an extremely frightening experience if we were hypothetically stuck with, say, a Brazilian tribe and we couldn't communicate with them. So, the way to access words then, the key to these black hole doorways, as I suggested as an analogy last week, is through apprehension. I think it's quite interesting that apprehension also means, or to apprehend a robber is to arrest him, and to arrest something is bringing something under our control. So, there you go. That is the key, basically. And I think as human beings that is very, very important to us. I think we're absolutely terrified of the idea of chaos and total movement and everything being out of our control. In reality, is nature like that, however? Can we really control nature? I don't think so. But remember, we're not actually talking about nature, we're talking about the world. And the world is a different thing altogether. It is indeed something created by humans, and therefore we do have some control over it. We can imagine this and imagine that, and we can say, can you please imagine this? We can write a book and get other people to imagine certain things, for example. And we can do all sorts of things in our imagination, and including control our imaginations, can't we? And we can get other people to imagine things via books and so forth. So it's a totally different thing than nature altogether, and it has its own rules, and very different rules. The laws of nature are very different than the kind of laws, if you like, if there are any, of the world, which really, at the end of the day, is whatever we imagine them to be. Well, there you go. That's this week's show. Something to get you thinking about it. Write in some comments if you like, and please rate my video. Subscribe if you haven't already, I'd appreciate that. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week. Bye.